Bada bing, bada boom. You know what it is. We're back, baby. 2022. That's a wrap. The Geeks are going to end the year with our annual awards. The award ceremony was our first ever YouTube video. So, you know what, man? These are special. I mean, you get a Geeks award, you're freaking something, man. So, take that and cherish it because there's not many and there's only been 2 years of it. So, let's get after it. I mean, let's start right off rip. I'm just gonna name the name of the award. I'll rip off what mine is, and then we'll just spin it around. We'll just bang these out. So let's get after it. We're gonna go first off. First award is the 2022 Geek of the Year award. Now this is a very biased award. It's gonna go geek by geek, and you're gonna hear some different things. I guarantee it. So if you get mentioned, you get your own little special award for this one. We haven't, gotten to the point where we're packaging things up and sending it out, but maybe we'll get there. So I'm gonna rip it off. Cheeto Vera, baby. Let's go. Marlon Cheeto Vera, my 2022 Geek of the Year. Guy never says no to a fight, always up for it, just continuously getting so much better. I know ESPN gave him Most Improved Award. Yeah, you could give him that too, but I mean, I'm giving him the Stallion Geek of the Award 2022. Big highlights, big things coming. So, Dano, you rip us off next. Who's your Geek of the Year 2022 award going to?
My award is going to be going to Dricus du Plessis.
Wow.
And it's because like Cheeto, he didn't never back down from a fight. He's always wanted to go for a fight. Us as the Geeks, Dricus fought twice in 2022. We took him both times. We were iffy against him and Till, right? There's a lot of controversy, not controversy, but just a lot of worries if we're gonna see Till. But we rode with Dricus, and he showed us how legit that he is. We also had him inside the distance against Till, that hit, and then in his previous fight against Brad Tavares, we had him in a parlay that cashed the whole parlay. So Dricus really helped out the Geeks, and he is my pick for Geek of the Year.
Wow. Stunner. Wow. Fishman, what do you got, buddy?
This is a probably not a popular opinion. He's coming off of two L's, but the crowd loves him. And he's my Geek of the Year, bro, because he is just a geek. He loves to turn up. It's tied to Ivasa. He had a brawl. I mean, he comes out early in the year, knocks out the Knockout King, puts Derek Lewis to sleep, has a battle with Cyril Gahn, and then he goes, fuck it. I'll get another one in before the year ends. But problem is he was facing Sergey Pavlovich, but whatever, bro. The crowd was there for it. And tied to Ivasa is my Geek of the Year. You know what? He's coming to bang, and you know what? You're gonna. Damn it! Fuck it,
Geek awards, man. Get you a little going.
dude. Nah, this is exciting shit right here. Um,
It's Bam Bam.
it's Bam Bam to Ivasa, motherfucker. You know
Let's
what you're coming.
go.
You know what you're gonna see when he comes out to bang. But that's my Geek of the Year. Throw some shoeies up. Let's get it.
Let's go. Awesome to see heavyweights with 3 fights in a year. That's dope. Goosey, who you got?
Drum roll, please. This one's going to be unexpected, boys. I'm going with Francis Marshall, Geek of the Year.
Let's
All
go.
right. He's for the boys. He's with the Geeks, one of us. All right, except he goes out in UFC Orlando and puts guys out cold. Probably going to get a few next year too. And shout out Kurt Pellegrino in his corner. I'm glad he got that verification badge on IG. Get at him.
Let's go. Let's go. Geek of the Year. Those are special awards. Cherish those. Shout out the Fire Marshal. Let's go. That's a fire pick. And just like that, we're going to move into the next the legit fighter of the year. So scrap the bias take, scrap the personal, this and that. We're getting right into it. Who deserves to be the fighter of the year? Accolades and, through the totality of the 12 months. Obviously, you got a lot of people that could get this award, but I'm giving this one to Alex Pereira. 3-0 in 2022. Whole bunch of knockouts and a knockout over, someone that people were people were all talking about, could be a GOAT, soon if he keeps doing up the same pace, and for him to climb the rankings, come back, do what he did in the past, knock out Israel Adesanya for the title. It is absurdity. The guy's got less than 10 fights in MMA, and he is the UFC champion. I mean, the story is unreal. Obviously, there's a couple other guys that they have great stories this year, but for me, that one's going to take the cake. So let's go rewind on this one. Goosey, who are you taking for your fighter of the year?
All right, so this one was big to me. I'm definitely not going to go down the path most people are taking when I see this award going out. At first, I was thinking Volkanovski. That guy went out, dominated two of the elite fighters in the world, and then put himself in a position to go champ next year with a win in February. Then I thought about Nate Diaz even. That was a little bit out there, but the position he came into 2022 in versus what he's going out, biggest free agent in the fight game. Ultimately, and this might be a surprise, I'm going to go with Sergey Pavlovich because he went 3-0, 3 first-round knockouts. He knocked out the knockout king in less than a minute and then did the same thing to Tai Tuivasa. It was sad at the time, but very impressive. Sergey Pavlovich, congrats, buddy. You are my fighter of the year.
Wow. Fishman, what do you got?
Yeah, so I'm loving what you guys are saying, and I'm just gonna mix it up. My number one was Alex, but because Geek went with it, head honcho went with Pereira. I'm gonna go with Drew Dober, and that's just because that dude, compared to his 2021, not so hot. He's facing dogs, but comes back 2022, flips the page, and just turns the script on everybody. He's knocking everybody out. I'm gonna go with Drew Dober. Granite slab of a chin, comes there to brawl and just knocking people out with body shots, knocking Bobby Green out recently. I mean, Terrence McKinney, that fight was wild. So I'm gonna go with Drew Dober on this one.
Yeah, dude. Shout out Drew Dober for stepping up, taking the fights that no one wants to, putting on a show, and getting the W. Stellar performance in 22. Shout out to Iron Chin. Dano, what do you got?
So I wish I would have been like Fish and had a plan B, because mine was already set, and I'm surprised it was set. But I'm gonna be riding with Sergey Pavlovich as well, right? 3-0, 3 KOs in 2022. But what came to my mind when thinking about this, and especially with Sergey, was kind of like at the beginning of the year. If you were a fan of a heavyweight, you might be like, all right, my guy's fighting Sergey Pavlovich next. All right, we'll see how he does. But now that we've seen what he's accomplished in 2022, I feel like the mentality is more of, oh shit, we're fighting Sergey Pavlovich next fight. Like that, he's really burst onto the scene. He's high in the rankings. I don't know where he is with title shot, top ranked guys. I don't know exactly. I'll have to double check that. But we were at UFC Orlando, obviously. He came into, I know Tai Tuivasa's not from there, but he came into enemy territory. Everyone was going with Tai, booing Pavlovich. Pavlovich played Tuivasa's game and knocked him out. I think he's surging right now. He's looking good, especially like for the ranked guys, or maybe a title shot. But Sergey Pavlovich is my fighter of the year.
Let's go, and let's spin it right into, we're going to do, that was the male fighter of the year. We're going to go female fighter of the year, and I am going to rip this one off with a name that, not everyone's going to know, but Larissa Pacheco. This woman had a year and a half, a year to remember, a year that is in the history books. She started this PFL season and knocked out the first girl. Then she went on to knock out the second girl. Then she knocked out the third girl, lining her up for the rematch with Kayla Harrison, who everyone was talking about was top 3, maybe even one of the best women in MMA in totality. We're talking about in the world. And she comes out and brawls her and beats her by a 5-round decision for the $1 million belt and the PFL title. I mean, what a way to cap off the year. She goes 4-0 with 3 first-round knockouts and takes out one of the, disputable GOATs of MMA. I mean, obviously we haven't seen Kayla in the other elements. But if you're good at MMA spectating, then you know her talents, and that was incredible. Larissa Pacheco, you are my 2022 Female Fighter of the Year. Go off, because that shit was wild. It's gonna be a lot. You're gonna be a big target coming into 2023. Best of luck, Malere. And Dano, what do you got?
My female fighter of the year is going to be Erin Cold-Blooded Blanchfield. She went 2-0 this year with two, I would say, dominant finish over JJ Aldrich. It did go into the second round, mid-second round, but she did look real good in that one. And then she just absolutely derailed the hype train of Molly McCann. I believe that was the New York card. Molly McCann coming in with a lot of hype. And Blanchfield just said, no, 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 not tonight. Looked real dominant. Subbed her with a nasty Kimura. Blanchfield's a young girl, and she's rising quickly. So that is my fighter of the year for the females.
Let's go, Fishman. Who's your female?
I love those two picks. I'm riding with Zhang Wei Li on this one. So this summer, I'm watching it. I'm in Rhode Island. I'm like, God dang, this about to be a crazy fight. Spinning back fist, just brutal to watch. Joanna puts her into retirement and then gets her chance at the belt again. Carla Esparza, perfect opportunity for her to snatch it up. And my favorite part about watching her fight is just she's a stand-up striker and she's just rounding her game off and she's able to isolate the arm on Carla and pull off a good sub. So beat Carla at her own game, took her belt back, got a nice KO earlier in the year to top it off, 2-0 with a knockout, and has the belt back. So I'm riding with Zhang Wei Li.
Yeah, Stallion. Goosey, who's your female?
Me and Fish are going to be on the same wave in this one. I'm going Zhang Wei Li. I think she was dominant. She showed improvement and just well-rounded. She didn't lose any aspect of a fight this year. So Zhang Wei Li is going to be my pick.
Let's go. And we're going to spin it in. We got the next award. It is going to be the fight of the year. Now this one's pretty obvious to me. I'm going with Jiri and Glover. I feel like this one is kind of steps above any other fight just because of the stakes, the way it ended, it really couldn't have been better. It was, kind of movie-esque. But there is some other good notable mentions. You had the Hamzat Gilbert fight that people are talking about, and then we were there live for Kevin Holland and Stephen Thompson, so that adds to that 100%. That was an absolute striker's delight. But yeah, I mean, just wanted to give a couple mentions, but Jiri Glover, wow. I mean, I literally have watched that fight more than 15 times now. I love to just put it on and watch it. It's like the best back and forth brawl in title fight history. Definitely in my time since I started watching it like legitimately every weekend. It's definitely the best fight I've ever seen. So yeah, let's go. Goosey, what do you got?
I like the Yuri Glover pick. Fight I've watched most this year is probably Sugar Sean Peter Yan. But favorite fight, the way that they made me feel, if you grab their hearts, you grab whatever he said.
Not following you, buddy. You've lost me.
I'm going Nate the Train. Nate Landwehr versus David Onama at UFC San Diego. I mean, at Electric Factory. No other way to describe it other than 15 minutes of madness and just it had everything. It had power, good striking, a little bit of grappling, the stand up were not grappling, fans going crazy, wild finish, A++. That's my fight of the year. Nate Landwehr versus David Onama.
Let's go. Sleeper one right there. That's a sleeper one. Fishman, what do you got?
So because of my number one was Jiri and Glover as well, just because of the belt. He subbed a dude that has not been subbed in his career, and he's a vet. But I'm gonna mix it up, and I'm gonna go with one that was number 4 on my list, Mike Trezano and Sungwoo Choi. Oh my God, that was a banger. They were knocking each other down like every round, and then bro, it was just crazy. So I'm riding with that one.
Dude, they literally knocked each other down. That was that fight where they hit each other at the same time with
Yeah.
the left hooks.
Double
The double?
knockdown.
Rare. I mean, there's a few of those you can watch online where guys get knocked out cold that way.
And then
Double
it
knockout.
was just stupid. That fight was stupid to watch.
That fight was. It didn't last too long, but it was stupid and it was fire. Dano, what's your take?
All right, I got a this one was tough for me. I got a couple of them, and you said it earlier, CEO. I'm gonna be riding for my main one, Hamzat versus Burns, just because those are one of those fights where I was sitting there watching it, and I was looking at my friends, going like, "Oh shit, this is actually happening like right now. Like they're walking out right now. This is going down."
Man, I'm so excited for this, bro. Oh my God. Y'all don't even know. I've been waiting all week for this.
Hamzat had a lot of hype behind him. That was at the moment in time where he was just running through opponents, so we haven't seen him in an elongated fight before. Then we get the meme of him sitting on the cage as Burns is walking out. I believe that was UFC 273. Crazy fight from start to finish. It was a 3-rounder though. My 1B fight was going to be a random fight night in the middle of the year that a lot of people were memeing about, because who knows these guys, foreign dudes coming to the States to have their own main event, not big names, but they were ranked at the time. And that's going to be the Sarukian Gamrot fight that we got behind Goosey. I think for 5 rounds, that was a super technical fight, super high level, and it really, really burst into the scene. Gamrot and Sarukian, both their names up. A lot of high profile fight, and a lot of people on social media afterwards going like, "Oh shit, like I was wrong. That was a crazy fight night," and it did deliver as a card as well. And then just a little honorable mention, the Gram Kutidzeladze. I don't know if I said that right, but him and Demir's Magilov, 3-round banger, super high technicality fight that was just really, really fun to watch.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree with all those takes. Especially the Hamzat Gilbert one. That one was absolutely nuts. All right, well, let's move into the next award. We're gonna go to the most improved. We do have a most improved award for the Geeks, and this award's gonna be, the legislation is, from where they are at the beginning of the year to where they are at the end of the year. Obviously the work they do in between and level of competition. So for me, the most improved of the year is going to go to Jamal Hill. Sweet dreams, because this man is now in a title shot situation. He's going to Brazil. He's got Glover. This is going to be one of the biggest opportunities of his entire career. You're talking about a guy who, the middle of last year, he gets caught by Paul Craig in a not the best thing, and kind of like an armbar thing, gets his arm all snapped up. Doesn't look too good. Comes back out against a heavy, wrestling style grappler. Jimmy Crute knocks him out. I know that was the end of last year. Then the beginning of this year, he comes out, Johnny Walker, turns that guy into a meme. I know that's been done before, but memes him. And then Thiago Santos. I mean, the improvements that he made from Jimmy Crute to Johnny Walker to Thiago Santos to now he's in this title spot. To me, I think that it takes the cake, and he's going to be the most improved for me, because I actually think that he's got a really good shot of being the champion. We're talking about the beginning of next year. So a couple of guys I want to mention. Curtis Blades, stand-up has come a long way. He looked really good this year. Obviously, the Aspinall injury, we didn't get to see a lot of him, but he was looking damn fucking good in that fight, as long as it lasted. And then Sugar Sean O'Malley, from knocking out cans on the side of the street. He looks to have gained some size and had a really good fight with Peter Yan. So he definitely has had some major improvements that I hate to announce. But Goosey, what's your take? Who's your most improved fight of the year?
For me, I mean, this one was pretty easy. It was Sweet Dreams Jamal Hill, and that's who I'm gonna pick, because he is most improved. We look at last year, he was sitting there, arm dangling, super disappointed after his fight with Paul Craig, to getting a little bit of momentum going with Jimmy Crute in December of last year, and just ran through 2020. I think he was 3-0, or 2022, 3-0. Gonna be, I mean, main event of the first pay-per-view of 2023. That jump is crazy. He's fighting for a belt. Who would have thought? So all in all, it's got to be Jamal Hill. I think I saw Cheeto Vera won it for like the ESPN, but he's kind of been that guy. And then Sergey Pavlovich, but I'm gonna go with Jamal Hill here.
Let's go. Fishman, what do you got?
I'm gonna ride with Drew Dober for the same reasons that he got my male fighter of the year is 0-2 in 2021. He's fighting dogs, like I said, Islam and Brad Riddell, but Terrence McKinney, Rafael Alvarez, Bobby Green, we mentioned them before. Those were crazy fights, and to just go 0-2 to 3-0 with 3 knockouts, I mean, that'll change your whole career. So I mean, the paper wise, fan wise, that I'm gonna go with that. So his career really just took a turn for the best. So I'm riding with Drew Dober for that one.
Let's go. Front kick is all over the Dober train. You're gonna have to send him a special gift.
Bro, and I dude, when that Terrence McKinney, I was riding Terrence McKinney in that fight, and I was like, holy shit. Like I remember I was with Dano and we weren't able to watch that fight live, but we didn't watch it. And I accidentally saw it on Instagram. I was like, damn, like Dober won. And then we go watch the fight later, and Terrence McKinney is lighting his ass up, and we're sitting there like still freaking out, even though we know that what happened. And I was like, yo, like, what the fuck just happened? But yeah, I'm right with Drew Dober on that.
As a stallion. Dano, who's your most improved fighter?
Usually when we do a pick videos for the cards, we get split 2-2. But I didn't think we'd be split 2-2 on the of the year awards. But that's what's gonna happen with this one, because Fish, I'm joining you with the Drew Dober pick with everything that you've said, and I'm gonna extend a little bit because from 2019 to 2021, he was 3-3. For those 3 years, he was just a mediocre fighter when it comes to record. Like you said, 2021, he goes 0-2. This year, he is 3-0, 3-0, 3 knockouts, 3 bangers. He has a kid. He has jumped into the rankings. A lot's turning around for Drew Dober right now, and he's got a lot of steam heading into 2023. So that's going to be my main most improved. And then my number 2 is going to be Roman Dolidze, because he also went 3-0 in 2022. In 2021, he went 1-1 with 4 canceled bouts. So he was also one of the guys on paper wasn't looking too stellar. 4 bouts fall through. He's probably in the dumps somewhere in 2021, and 2022 just totally spun around for him because he was hopping in short notice. He was knocking people out. He was putting people in calf slicers. A lot's changed for Roman Dolidze, so that is also my most improved.
Let's go. Hell yeah. And then
Love that.
before we get into some of our more chaotic awards tonight, we're going to jump into the Rookie of the Year. Stallion of the Year has to have made their debut in the single year that we are judging this, which is 2022. And obviously, made some ruckus. So a couple of the names that pop off the sheet to me. JDM, we got Jack Della Maddalena. We've got Muhammad Makayev. We've got Jalton Almeida. But I'm gonna give this award because it can only happen one time. And I'm gonna give this award to Raul Rosas Jr. Let's go. Let's go. Yes, sir.
I love that. That's
Not
fire.
bad.
The 18-year-old makes his debut. I mean, this kid is 18 years old. He was 17 when he's on the Contender Series. He is 6-0 to finish off 2022. Nobody wants to talk about his other 4 pro fights that he had in Mexico that brought him to the Contender Series, all in the same year of this 2022. He is absolutely bursting onto the scene, beating grown men at 135 pounds, which bantamweight is, like it or not, probably the best division in the UFC in the world. So to beat a guy at 18 years old on the biggest platform with all the hype, he's in the video game. Give me Raul Rosas Jr. as the Rookie of the Year because I feel like it fits and I can't do it next year. So let's go. 6-0, Raul Rosas Jr. Dano, who's your Rookie of the Year?
Good pick. But it is someone that you mentioned, and I'm going to be riding with JDM. In 2022, he went 3-0, 3 knockouts, and he's a rookie or a prospect. like, not comparing him to Paddy Pimblett, but right in Paddy Pimblett's fight, Paddy is a prospect and he's going through the lower level guys on his way up, which is also what JDM is doing. But Paddy's getting clipped. He's not going down, but right, we're seeing him get punches landed on him. We're seeing him have a tough time here or there. JDM's the prospect and he's the rookie that's melting people. He's getting it in the ring with them. They're closing the doors. Bruce Buffer's doing the announcing. Referee says go, and it's just full go from JDM meltage with his hands. He's looking real good. He looks like he's going to be a problem in that division. And I think, there's always some of those prospects who are bust or who we don't know what's going to happen. I would lean on the side of JDM is the real deal prospect. So that is going to be my rookie of the year.
Hell yeah, bro. That guy is nonsense when he steps into the octagon. Can't wait to see him in Perth. Fishman, what's going to be your rookie of the year? Who's getting the award?
My number one, I'm riding with Dano on this one. Jack Della Maddalena, for the same reasons. I mean, all first round knockouts, debuted this year. So, I mean, what more can you ask for? And but I'm gonna mention my number 2 and 3, Muhammad Mukayev, a youngin coming out, 2 subs, and then gets a decision win over a good guy and Charles Johnson, I believe it was, and then Chow Borralho he got 3 decision wins, but they were all good opponents. So all dudes 3-0 this year. So with all made their debut this year. Yeah, they're all rookies. So let's go. I'm gonna go with Jack, but Muhammad Mukayev is that next dude coming up.
I'm so glad that you mentioned Cal Braujo because he flies under the radar in this kind of discussion and he doesn't get a lot of votes on the public scene because of the decisions. But I mean, if you watch Cal Braujo fights, I mean, that guy is putting on some serious master classes. I mean, the way that he's beating guys, he's not really taking any damage, which is
good IQ. That's what I was gonna say. No, good IQ, and he does not take that much damage. Yeah.
Yeah. So watch out for him for sure. Goosey, who's gonna be your rookie of the year?
Rookie of the year. For me, it's gonna have to be the kid that was sitting in 11th grade classroom this time last year. I'm gonna go with Raul Rosas. I mean, bro, he's 18. He literally had to have his parents sign the waiver for him to fight on the Contender Series. And then he turns 18, a literal flawless victory in the Ultimate Fighting Championships. I mean, that's insane. Will he probably be bigger than the bantamweight class? Yes, but guess what? He's 18 fighting grown men, and he just got it done in 2 minutes. His last fight, took no damage, and had an insane post-fight speech as well.
What do you think of that?
Insane walkout, completely grown fan base. He's in the video game, like you said. I think Raul Rosas Jr. has got to be rookie of the year for the UFC. If we're talking MMA as a whole, I'm going to have to give it to Bo Nickel because, I mean, the dude's on the path for greatness, it seems like. So welcome to it, Bo.
Yes, sir. Can't agree more. A couple notable mentions. Francis Marshall obviously bursting on the scene with his debut, scoring a devastating knockout and rallying the crowd as at UFC Orlando, getting the USA chance. I mean, that was really the start that really fueled the fire for that whole rest of that card. So yeah, I mean, we can get into the next couple awards here. These ones are going to be kind of shabby ones, but we're going to go into the interview of the year award. All right, this is a Geeks interview exclusive. So obviously only eligible people are people that came on for a Geeks chat. So yeah, we're rating you the whole time. So no pressure going forward, but yeah, you're on the scope, buddy. All right, and for the next one, we're gonna go right into the knockout of the year. This one goes for male or female, just straight up knockout of the year, and mine's gonna go to Leon Edwards. Let's go, man! Knocking out the disputable GOAT, and really setting the world on fire. Round 5. What an absolute dead shot! Having a freaking night, kid. You're calling the shots now. So let's go, Leon. That's my knockout of the year. Fishman, what do you got?
My number one was Leon, but I'm going to ride with Ilya Topuria and Jai when he slept Jai Herbert. He comes out in the first round, gets head kicked, almost knocked out, gets up, somehow shoots a takedown like 3 seconds after getting chinned up, comes out and puts this dude out cold before he even hit the ground. So that was just insane. In enemy territory, shuts the crowd up, has a beef with Patty, starts it on that. That was the first London card. That's when that beef started. So yeah, I'm liking that one for knockout of the year.
Yeah, that was such a clean combo. Dano, what do you got for KO?
You guys took my top two, so I'm gonna have to result to my number three, but I want to add on to my number one, and it's gonna be adding on to your CEO, the Leon Usman one. And I just love that KO because Usman was so dominant for so long, right? He was one win away, I think. If he would have won that fight, he would have tied Anderson Silva for like most win streaks, or I forget the official stat, but Usman was just such a dominant fighter, and that was a knockout where he was fighting unconscious. Like it was just a snap of the finger, crazy blow, went viral. Everyone's seen it before. But the one that I'm going to talk about mainly is going to be the Josh Quinlan versus Jason Witt knockout. And this was hidden on the prelims of some random fight night, maybe. But I just loved it because it was just a clean left hook with the dude marching forward. Witt fell down in the middle of the octagon, arms out, arms out, right in the middle of the monster logo. And it was like Josh Quinlan just sacrificed Witt to the Monster Energy gods. And it was just like such a clean knockout. And I just totally remember that one. So that's gonna be my knockout.
Okay, gotcha. All right, and Goosey, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple. It's got to be pound for pound, headshot, dead.
You don't doubt me, so I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Look at me now. Pound for pound, headshot, dead. That's it.
Leon Edwards, I think it was the shot heard around the world, the most improbable kick, maybe in UFC history. And then just absolutely iconic moment. The post-fight speech, all of it, A tier. And then we will go, if we want to get crazy, go female knockout, spinning elbow, Molly McCann in London. And honorable mention here, I will go Cheeto Vera knocking out Dom Cruz in UFC San Diego.
This one you got.
I got another one. Yeah, so I had a female knockout of the year list too. I went with obvious. The first one was Molly spinning elbow. Second was Wei Lee spinning back fist Joanna, and then my third was a sleeper was Natalia Silva against Teresa Bleda. Bleda kind of shot for a takedown. It was just weird timing, but it ended up just being a clean. She chinned her up. It would have probably hit her in like the gut, but spinning back hit landed on the chin, just obliterated her. But that was a sleeper.
Yeah, if we're gonna give the female some love here, the one that sticks out to me, maybe a little bit of recency bias, is Polyana Viana in that last card couple weeks ago. Stellar combination, running forward, puts her out cold. Love that. Let's move into the submission of the year. Male or female here. You can rip off as many as you'd like, but rip off your top guy. My top guy is going to be Islam, submitting Charles. The stakes were high. He came out as a massive favorite. The line quickly adjusted, and as it got closer to the fight, it was very close in the odds. And he really just came out and had his way. I mean, to put Oliveira away like that, it really showed, that this is Islam era. We are now living in the Islam era. So now it's going to be, on Volkanovski and on a lot of these other guys to, take away from what this guy's building, because, the way that, he stuns him on the feet, Oliveira I'm speaking about in this fight, Oliveira always had the hall pass where he could lay on his back and really just regain that juice. And Islam, man, showing the well-roundedness, putting him down, and then just jumping right into his guard, jumping right into that arm triangle. So stellar, so amazing. Khabib jumps out, he's running. It's an emotional moment. Just a great storyline. I know a lot of people aren't big fans of the Dagestanis here in America, but he's got to get my sub of the year. So Islam, have a day with that, bud. You'll never see me to have that handed off to you, unfortunately. Goosey, what's gonna be your sub of the year?
My sub of the year, it's going to be one of the more unexpected ones, in my opinion. Is going to be Yuri Pro. Not unexpected. Delete. Okay. My sub of the year is going to be Yuri Prohashka submitting Glover Teixeira via rear naked choke. The fight was obviously just an absolute banger, back and forth. We get to the 5th round. Yuri's probably down 3-1, but who knows? It could have gone either way. And then just in madness of a round, a scramble, Glover ends up tapping, and Yuri the Samurai gets that belt. So that's going to be male submission. And then female submission, I will give it to Jessica Andrade for her standing sub over Amanda Lemos, which was pretty sweet. So those are going to be the two for me.
Dana, what do you got?
I got a couple, and off the top, one of my favorite fighters. I got Paul Craig versus Nikita Krylov, and this was on the London card. Place was going nuts. Paul Craig was looking like crap. He was getting his head dribbled off the canvas, and this was kind of like a Hail Mary, right? The last ditch effort. When you're playing Call of Duty and you got 1 HP left and you pull out the sniper going for the headshot. This is what this moment was, because Krylov was pounding him, and then he fell into guard, and Paul Craig does what Paul Craig does, wrapped up the legs. Krylov taps, place goes nuts, Craig jumps up, goes nuts. Total last ditch effort, super cool moment, especially if you're watching it live, and especially if you are a Paul Craig fan. And then my next one is Matt Schnell versus Sue Madwerji. I think that's how you say his last name. And I believe this was on the Long Island card, Ortega versus Yair. And this was one where Schnell was getting the crap beat out of him, constantly getting put down by Sue. And then he just comes up from the depths, puts Sue in like a arm or a leg triangle on top, or I forget the exact submission, but I just remember a super bloody fight. Next thing we know, Sue is sleeping. He was winning, sleeping from a submission. Total bonkers. Those are my picks.
Fair picks. Chanel's got that dog in him. That was insane. Fishman, what's gonna be your pick?
My most vicious submission of the year goes to Trayshawn Gore for absolutely wringing Josh Friend's neck like a chicken. It was ridiculous. I mean, he grabs that neck and looks like he literally just picked this dude up. He's trying to get out of it by running on the cage, and just, you look at that video, he looks like he actually got guillotined off, but boy goes to sleep. It was nuts. Good turnaround for Trayshawn after I think he got slept that fight before that, but yeah, I have to go with that one. That shit was vicious.
Hell yeah. All right, we're gonna move into the next one. We've got the beef of the year. All right, so this is any kind of beef that went down in 2022 between a couple people, maybe a guy versus something else. Mine's gonna be Hamzat Chimaev versus Kevin Holland. And now this one's just really sweet for me. Really sweet. Because it all started when these guys weren't even matched up to fight each other. All right. They show up to UFC 279 and the conference gets canceled. We all know how that goes. Everything's getting thrown. All we hear is stories. We got Ariel Helwani tweeting the backstory. The story ends up coming out. They were getting into it. Front kicks were thrown, couple jabs, nothing serious. But then the cards get shuffled and these guys get to come out there and fight each other. So, after all the shit talk, all the beef, you got to stand there and be a man of your word and step into the ring with one another. That was amazing for me because it was like it wasn't scripted and it seemed scripted and it was freaking fantastic. So give me that as my beef of the year. Obviously, Hamzat strangled him effortlessly, almost popped his eyes out of his head. So shout out to Hamzat for that one. And that's gonna be my beef of the year. So good job, fellas. Good shit talk. Let's go, Goosey. What do you got for your beef of the year?
My beef of the year is going to be Nate Diaz versus the UFC. And I mean, they did have some wild back and forth. You had Nate Diaz taking a pee at the UFC PI, putting the picture out. You had USADA showing up and Nate blazing up with him on IG Live. That turns into the UFC trying to get back at Nate, having him fight Hamzat in the main event at UFC 279, ultimately just culminating with the most wild storyline weekends probably of the year in that UFC 279 card. And then Nate Diaz going out in the most stocked in Nate Diaz fashion, getting that guillotine at 209 in the fourth round and becoming one of the biggest free agents in the whole fight game right now. So that's going to be my beef of the year for UFC and Nate Diaz in 2022.
Yeah, bro. I remember Dana White. All he had to do was give him Francis Ngannou, or is it? Dano, what's gonna be your beef of the year?
My beef of the year was not a long beef. It was a short beef, and it probably happened, if I had to put it in timeline, maybe 30 minutes. And this was at the press conference between Sean Strickland and Israel Adesanya. And this was weird because they weren't even fighting. Sean Strickland is fighting Alex Pereira, and I forget who Izzy was fighting. If you guys could help me out there. Cannonier, right? So Cannonier is not a trash talker. So Strickland and Izzy are pretty much carrying this press conference. And I just remember Adesanya saying shit to Strickland, Strickland saying stuff back, Adesanya saying stuff back, and then Strickland gets up in his jeans and white t-shirt and is going, "Get him, Alex! Get him, Alex!"
Crack my nail in your face.
Man, Alex, get
Hey, man, you better focus on your guy. If not, he's gonna you up too.
Yeah, the way he slept your ass.
Good because he's.
Oh!
That's what I'm talking about. That's it.
Telling him to get Adesanya because he was acting up and he was making fun of Izzy for watching anime and stuff like that. And then 24 hours later, Sean Strickland's sleeping in the octagon because Alex Pereira knocked him out. So just like total Sean Strickland move. Love Sean Strickland press conferences. Hopefully we get it again. But that is my beef of the year.
Let's go. Fishman, what's going to be your beef of the year?
I'm just going to go with the beef that has criminal record attached to it. It's going to be Colby and Jorge. I mean, that is when the beef comes out of the octagon and it's met in the streets, it is hectic. So it's going to have to be that one. We still have to see what's to unfold. But my second one that I like the Patty and Ilya forming. I like this beginning stages. And dang, I had one and Poirier Chandler. They were chirping at each other pretty good for a long while until the fight happened. Great fight. So I like that one as well.
Let's go. All right, let's move right into the last award we're handing out here. And this one's going out to anybody that got involved with the Geeks in any kind of way, maybe an interview over, a Zoom chat, or maybe we ran into you in person, got a little in-person live, little Geeks exclusive. We're going interview of the year. All right, so I'm going to rip this puppy off, and I'm giving this to SD the Reaper Dumas because this man absolutely brought the noise. Ran into him at Icon FC down in Orlando at the Silver Spurs Arena, and my boy had some words, and my boy spoke them rigorously. All right, he was making call-outs to Alex Pereira, the champ. He's booked to make his debut in March of next year. Kid's got huge aspirations. He made a big statement on the Contender Series, and I'm just hyped, man, because guys like that who have their eyes set so high, they really tend to perform at a different level. So I can't wait to see SD, and appreciate all that love that you gave to us on that interview and in person. You're a dope dude. So let's get that Pereira matchup sooner than later. Goosey, who we handing out this interview of the year to?
Yeah, Off the top of my head, obviously Nico Price, he's getting the honorable mention. That interview was great. You had the jujitsu in there, all the ingredients, but at the end of the day, SD Dumas, what a performance, man. Because that I was saying it right after. I thought that was one of the best interviews in MMA of the year. Probably top 3, but either way, SD Dumas, incredible performance. Thank you for that. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it, because you almost got a whole career path and plan in a 5-minute stretch from him. He also called some guys out, said if you wanted to pull up at UFC Orlando, he was going to make you drop what you were holding, and he wasn't going to pay for it. Just a lot of quotes, a lot of intensity, a lot of hilariousness on display. SD, the Reaper Dumas, we appreciate you.
Dano, who you ripping?
I'm riding with someone who I didn't know before this interview. You guys interviewed him. You opened him up to YouTube, to the Geeks fam, and I became a fan of his, and that was Torres Finney. Super cool guy. I thought he was awesome from the interview. Lives in the gym, fights every day. I forget who he's fighting for, but I ended up not even knowing this guy, and then digging through the illegal streams to stream his fight later in the year, and he did win by late round TKO. But he was an awesome guy, and I watched it from beginning to end. I thought he was super cool.
Yeah, watch out, because you never know what The Rock is cooking. Torres Finney, shout out. Let's go. Interview of the Year award for the kid. Ray will be stoked for that. All right. Fishman, interview of the year. Who you got?
I would like to mention Nico, but I'm riding with Torres Finney as well. But yeah, with Nico, just a great opportunity for CEO Geek to roll around, get a little lesson taught on the mats, and but yeah, with Torres, that boy, he is young and he's an animal. Boy lives in the gym, and he's just a goober. He's out here. He's got his whole setup. He games in the gym. He lives there, trains every day. And yeah, he's just got huge aspirations. So I'm riding with him. Very, very chill dude, very down to earth guy.
An absolute savage.
How's that?
Savage. Specimen of a fucking dude right there.
I got an honorable mention of someone who's not done yet, right? We're doing the of the year awards, expecting everyone to be done. But we got someone that I remember we did a chat with, and let me see, just double checking. And that is John Dodson, because I think John Dodson's fighting on this Bellator Ryzen card. He was a super cool dude. He fought in BKFC. We saw him splatter somebody, talk to him. Very cool dude, very cool interview. And he's still got work to do in 2022. So be on the lookout for that.
Let's go. Those are your 2022 Geeks Awards from top to bottom. Hope you liked them. Hope you want to tune in. Maybe we'll do a log next year, get a little public vote action. But let's go, man. Next year, big things coming. We have got so much content, so many plans. We're going to be on the move. So watch out for our UFC Orlando vlog coming out, and just be on the watch. Turn your alerts on, turn your notifications. Make sure you're subscribed. Tell your buddies. Let's go. We're taking interns. Send an email. Hit up the IG. Let's get it, fellas.
Let's go. Hell of a year, 2022. Liftoff commenced 2023. Let's go, fellas.